Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Peace and blessings. May the peace and blessings of Allah be upon all who seek. So today the subject of suicide has come up twice. Earlier through text, I had a conversation with a young man who had attempted suicide several times. And this was in conjunction with a relationship that he had been in where he said he gave his all and he loved this girl very much. And apparently the girl had loved him, but he said at some point he felt that she was growing a bit weary or tired of the relationship. And she said that her mom found out about the relationship and this was her reason for breaking it off. And it affected him very deeply on a level that caused him to not want to live anymore. And it wasn't until he started to think about his family. He was sitting on the edge of a balcony on, I don't know, the 13th floor, and he just realized, I have to be better than this. I have a mother, I have siblings that look up to me. And now I hear that Kate Spade, very famous designer, known for her handbags, and that's the main thing I know of her, but she's done more than that, accomplished and 55 years old, relatively young, and they say that she hung herself in her apartment. Now nowadays, I'm going to be honest, I don't know, really. I mean, you just never know. Like I said, you just never know what really goes on. There are many deaths and suicides that can appear to be suicides and are not. So I'm not saying anything is certain because this has just come out very recently. I don't know, maybe within the past hour or so. But the fact that any person feels the need to take their life, there are some that say, well, this is their right. If they don't want to live anymore, then that's fine. Like that's their right to say, I don't want to live anymore. But what are the circumstances that would make a person decide to kill themselves and in such a brutal manner? I mean, a gunshot to the head is, I guess, messy, but it's quick. But strangling to death is just, it takes a while. It's pretty slow. It's not, I'm not trying to be morbid. I'm just saying, aren't there so many better ways to kill yourself? And this conversation is not going in the direction that sounds right. I mean, what can sound right about speculating about the good ways to do it? Because from an Islamic perspective, our life is a gift. Our life is a gift from Allah, and we're put on this earth for a purpose. And I really believe that a lot of people kill themselves because they simply don't even know what the purpose is of their life. And this was going back again to an article that I've referenced before where it talks about why the wealthy, why the rich, why those who are seemingly the most accomplished, why they're the ones that kill themselves. Often will kill themselves because they've already achieved everything that the middle class and the poor can dream of and can think of. They can say, well, if I become wealthy, or if I win the lottery, or if I build this business, or if I make these millions of dollars, or if I make these hundreds of thousands of dollars, my life will be so much better. It'll be great. But then you have these people that they have the best of everything. They have the best that money can buy. They have the friends. They have the fame. They have the houses, the cars. They have all of the material and maybe even beyond the material. But they're still not content because they know that emptiness is there. So even though they have family, and even though they may have lovers or husbands or wives, even though they have people who love them, that's not enough. And the Islamic understanding and teaching is because they don't know their creator, and that the love that we are actually created in this world to know God, to love God, and to adore and give ourselves to that great love, to worship. So I end with worship because that is the least understood word, but worship encompasses these qualities. So ubudiyya, like one of the understandings of ubudiyya and that type of worship is knowing, is to know God. So the verse وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ, that I did not create man or jinn except, jinn or people except to worship me. But some understand worship as also meaning to know God. And to know God is to love God. To know Allah is to love Allah. And when people are lacking that love, they turn to so many other things thinking that it will fill. But the place in the heart that I heard Yasmin Mujahid in a lecture that I actually ended up sharing with the young man who said he was suicidal. She talks about a concept, I think that was from Ibn Qayyim al-Jawziyah, saying that the heart has these different compartments, and that there's a compartment that is at the center that is really only meant for the love of the Creator, for the one that created us all. And so there's an imbalance when we put other things in that place. And even though we may try to fill it, it just makes it more clear that we're putting the wrong thing in the wrong place, and that's why we feel that emptiness. But we try to hide it with distraction, and it's so simple. You know, I just had a really beautiful conversation with Annette Larkins, and we were talking about this subject, you know, of having that connection and praying, and she was mentioning that how it's a very personal relationship for her, this connection that she has with the Creator. And people, you know, when you have it, you're fulfilled. It fulfills you in a way that must be experienced. And this is why in my journeys and in my travels, yes, I myself have found that the Quran is a divine book. I myself have found that it is it's a pure, unchanged message that encompasses what all prophets before, including Jesus, what they taught. And I believe that many of the teachings, the original teachings, such as those of Buddha and other teachers, I believe that they were altered because they were even further away from us than Jesus, and we know his teachings were completely changed from what he originally taught. So while I have found that comfort and that peace and that solace and that guidance, I still tell people, look, just ask the one. Most people believe in a source. Those who look at and have studied DNA, they've said it's impossible that the coding that is in DNA, it's like a program, and it's impossible that that program could have developed via evolution. They know it's impossible. So there's a source to that. There's an origin to that, and that origin is incredibly, the level of awareness, knowledge, intelligence, and creativity, like everything that you look at, it makes it clear that the source to all that exists has intention and there's so much, there's a plan, and there's guidance. You know, how the different creatures and animals are guided via their DNA, that then expresses itself in various ways and different behaviors, etc. You know, it's obvious they're following some kind of plan. And at the same time, we are given a plan by which to put order into our lives. But we have to ask for that guidance. It's that simple. We have to sincerely ask for that guidance. And so I hope that when we see the lives of people who were so accomplished and yet they took their lives, I hope that it's a lesson for us about this life, and that one day we're here and the next day we're gone. For some it may be by their own hand. For some it may be in a accident or just death. Death comes. And when we die, don't we want to be in a state knowing that we at least attempted to understand our purpose and not chalk it up as, well, it's just a mystery. Perhaps the mystery could be less mysterious if we were to reach out and ask for truth to be revealed.